Absolutely, and you know, it's one of the things I love, I still love so much about the high school sports is there's such a bond between coaches and students. And I remember, I'll never forget this, several years ago, there was a kid, he went to Roosevelt High School that passed away when he was in Nassau Community, named Dante Barron.
Played against him.
Played against him. He came from a very poor family, and they didn't have the money to pay for the funeral, and it was Joe Vito who paid for his funeral. His coach paid for his funeral, and that's the type of bond that you guys have.
He's done that for his Roosevelt kids all throughout. They love him. He's a phenomenal guy, phenomenal coach, and he is the father of those kids. I'm telling you, he does a great job with those kids. They all love him, adore him. Everybody who's coached against him for years, I played against Roosevelt. I have so much respect for him for what he's done for the Roosevelt community.
Yeah, and I truly believe, you know, talking about Joe Vito, it's one of the reasons he probably never got married in his life is because his whole life was dedicated to those kids. And you played against Dante Barron, and you know, and when I heard about that, I wasn't even surprised because I know what type of person that Joe Vito is.
Yeah, I remember playing against Coach Vito, and I see him to this day. I see him at the Nassau County Championships I go to every year. I take my son now. I've actually seen him running through East Rockaway, Lynbrook area. Pulled over, stopped him in the middle of a run, all sweaty, giving me a hug, you know. But great guy, and I know we were rivals on the field, but Coach Capozzi and the rest of our coaching staff had the utmost respect for Coach Vito and his staff, and likewise with our teammates. You know, we had great respect for them, and they had great respect for us. And he's definitely a great guy. I've actually met kids in gyms working out who said they played for Roosevelt and told me they played for Coach Vito and had great things to say about him, that he helped them throughout many aspects of their life, you know, from lessons in life, monetarily, whatever the case may be. He's just always been there to be a father figure, like Coach just said.
Talk about how important it is for you to be a part of the golf outing to honor the legacy of Ralph's son every year.
Well, I love it. Coach will tell you, I think I missed, was it 2 years ago I missed it because it was my cousin's wedding. But I make it
Shame on you.
well, I make it a point to be there, and I make it a point to spread the word amongst other guys from Carl Place. I've brought friends from work a few years. I always try to bring people and get people there because I know how much it means to Coach Capozzi and his wife and the rest of their family to be able to give a great scholarship to a camp or to a college or whatever the case may be, to be able to give that kid an opportunity. And if we can help by donating into the scholarship fund, that's what we're there for. You know, Coach always had our back, and we'll always have his back. So I'll be playing in that outing until I can't swing a golf club anymore.
Sounds good. Hey, Ralph, can't let you go. I want to hear a really good they called him the 8 train, Anthony Marasco. I want to hear a really good Anthony story before I let you go.
Okay. We were in the playoffs that year, right? It was a Big Four championship. We actually came in 4th place. And we were playing a Cold Spring Harbor team that was undefeated. So we were 5-3 at the time. Cold Spring Harbor was 8-0. We were picked to lose. There was no way.
Hey, halftime out, we picked you to win. I remember that. And people said I was crazy. I got so many nasty comments on Cold Spring Harbor, cursing me out. They used to call me stupid Howie, but I was so happy when you won that game. I didn't say it, but I was happy. I said, you guys, let's continue.
Well, Anthony was captain of the team that year, and we had the guys so pumped up that week. I changed my defense for the game because they ran a specific offense that was real tough to go against defensively. And I did stuff that I would have never done against routine teams. So I did things that were real crazy defensively, and we stuffed them the first couple of series really well. So I had these guys were just pumped. And Anthony kept getting these guys pumped up. And every time we gave him the ball, he would just knock the garbage out of people. It wasn't even a matter of just running. I think he really got his name for being the A train that game because he actually just put his head down and knocked people down. I think there was one play in the game, we were up at one point 27-0, and he scored a touchdown, but it was the way he scored a touchdown. He went through a hole, knocked 2 guys on the line right off, and then there was a guy right by the goal line that was dead on with him. And he just looked at him and just said, no way you're going to tackle me. And he just planted this guy in the end zone. I'm going, holy God. But it pumped up the rest of the guys. I think we wound up scoring 42 points that
we
game.
beat 'em up big.
Right. And actually went on to play Roosevelt in the finals when they had a tremendous player called Pettis, who did a tremendous job for them. But that was a great game. But we came out of nowhere to beat a team that was 8-0. So, I mean, he had those guys so riled up and pumped up. And then we went into, basically, he became captain of my baseball team. And I knew we were going to have a decent team, but I didn't know if we were going to win a Long Island championship. And he kept that same philosophy of being tough as hell. If I would hit him ground balls at third, he would want me to hit 50 ground balls as hard as I could possibly hit to see how many he can knock off any part of his body to make. And guys would respect that. Guys would say, man, what a tough guy this guy is. And that whole philosophy kept us all year like that. We would win close games by everybody on the team being tough, being a little bit more tougher than the other team physically and mentally. And we went on to win the Long Island and go up to the States. We lost in the second round of the States. So, tremendous year by him. I mean, it was all Long Island football. We made the Long Island champion, won the Long Island championship, went to the States in baseball. You know, for him to have that kind of year in his last senior year, and a lot of it laid on him because he was the captain of two teams. And, you know, he did a tremendous job, you know. And just, the nastiness, he would just go out on the field. He wouldn't play we would practice. And if guys didn't have their head in the game, he would just knock them down. He didn't care. And it was just like we would laugh at the end of practice and say, oh my God. You know, Anthony would like kill these guys and go, oh my God. So the guys knew they had to be tough as nails. If not, he was going to plant them. So, you know, it was a kind of fun year. I think he set the tone for the whole senior year of that group.
Yeah. I've always said the Conference 4 coaches earn their money much more than the Conference 1-2 coaches because you didn't have the luxury of 45, 50 guys.
22 guys.
Your guys had to play offense, defense, special fields. Never came off the field. So I think you guys, the Conference 4 coaches, the small schools, really earned your money.
Well, you know what? It is tough when you have 22 guys. I remember my last couple of years there, I had 17, 18 guys. Matter of fact, after I left there, they had to combine with Wheatley and call plays together. But it was getting to a point where you couldn't field 17, 18 guys on a team. And you go out there going, oh my God, you know, and these kids knew they had to play every which way possible. And it was a matter of staying healthy, you know, and, you know, the tougher you are, you know, working out and toughness on the field, the more you stayed healthy. And in the years we won to the Big Four or the Long Island Championship, guys stayed healthy and they stayed with it. They stayed with the program. They stayed tough.
Even if we weren't healthy.
And this is a lot of great memories. But kind of like get in that mode. What was it like in the locker room when Coach Capozzi had you guys together? What kind of a little of Coach Capozzi a pregame talk? How about put yourself in? You're Ralph Capozzi.
My hairs are starting to stand up on my arm. No, like I said, you didn't know if you wanted to put your head through the wall, smash the helmet on your head, or break down crying. It was really like that. But there was like an unspoken thing between Coach and I where he knew that I had everybody ready to go. And there was a couple other great guys that I played along with. I mean, I had one of the best offensive lines I could ever imagine. These guys would make holes you could drive a truck through, right? And these guys, like one of my best friends still to this day, Ruben Morales, you know, Coach knew that he would come in and he would get us going. And then he just had to walk out and close the door, and the rest was in our hands between Ruben, myself, some of the other seniors, and we would get to the point where we'd want to just go nuts. We would listen to Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. Everybody would go crazy. And then Ruben and I and a couple other guys, we would just get everybody with the attitude that they, on the other side of the sideline, have something to take from us, and they're not going to take it. And we would do everything in our power to prevent them from getting it. And that's just what we did. And I tried to implement that same mentality in college, and it was difficult.
Is it safe to say, a lot of guys have told me this through the years, that college was a letdown from high school? You couldn't replicate the special feeling, the bond that you had in high school. College just couldn't do it.
Yes and no. I mean, there's something to be said for you go to a school, you don't know anybody, you practice for 4 weeks, and next thing you know, it's like, hey, you're from Yonkers, you're from Florida, you're from Massachusetts, I'm from Long Island. We've only been together for 4 weeks, but right now we're going to war. So do you have my back? Because I have your back. So there's something to be said for that in terms of the college football.
Okay.
Because in high school, you know, you're playing with kids your whole life.
Right.
We played in the Mineola Chief program, and you know everybody, the families know everybody. To be able to build that bond in 4 weeks is a very, very hard thing to do. It's not easy. But in terms of the coaching, yeah, I mean, you know, the bonds that I have with Coach Capozzi, Coach Snide, Mr. Ciccoli, all these coaches, it's completely different. You know, these guys are like father figures. In college, you are, you know, it's the next man up, whoever's ready. You get hurt, you could be the number one guy on the team, you get hurt, who's ready to go? And then that guy may never get his shot again if the other guy keeps performing. So it's different. It definitely is different. I think it's certainly valuable, though. I thank God that I had the opportunity to play at a high level in high school, at a high level in college, because there's a lot of lessons in life that I was able to take with me and share with people I work alongside of, colleagues. Implement that same type of attitude that we have to perform, we have to hit numbers, there's no tomorrow. Even with my kids, you know, I try to implement that attitude with them, never say never, never quit. My son will tell you to this day, champs never quit. You know, and that's what I try to instill in them for life, for sports, for everything.
That's awesome. Ralph, I enjoyed having you and Anthony on, and definitely I want to have you guys back to promote the golf outing in July, so maybe in June. And I think it'd be great if you brought Ruben and several other guys. So next time you come,
We had a great quarterback that year.
Yeah,
too,
next-
you know.
Jimmy too, I can
Sherrod.
get Jimmy, I can get Casey.
I think next time you come, I should do about 80 of you guys. Maybe even better.
I can get them all.
All right, let's come back. Let's bring the whole crew next time.
We'll get 'em,
all right.
we'll get 'em.
This is great, Ralph. Thanks for sharing. I know some of those things were difficult, but we're gonna have you back in June to really pump up the golf outing. Okay.
Thanks. Howie, I just want to, on behalf of all the Nassau coaches, really, especially all the years I've coached, and I'm sure until you finished, you did a great job promoting high school football.
Absolutely.
You really did. Probably better than some of the newspapers that were around at the time. So, on behalf of all of us coaches, we want to thank you for that.
All right, thank you so much. It was a labor of love, and I've said this many times. I couldn't have made it as popular as it was without the cooperation of the coaches. Because, like, I remember, like, the games on a Saturday. I had a show on a Tuesday night. I call up Ralph on a Monday. Hey, Ralph, can you get me 3 or 4 kids from Carl Place, Anthony and 2 others? No problem. The cooperation, the coaches were great. We had a great relationship, and without you guys, it couldn't have gone to the level that it was. And it was great memories, and that's why I think this reunion tour is going to be great to relive those great memories. And now we have that great golf outing to promote, so it's going to be great.
Thanks, Howie.
All right.
Appreciate all the things you've done for us.
All right, we'll continue working together. Anthony, great seeing you and Coach again.
Same here, thank you very
All
much.
right,
Thank
the A-Train, Coach Capozzi.